Sologo and Miggy Jimenez. We also have here with us our writer Jonathan Guillermo and our director Shugo Raico. Sige, tayo ay maupo. Okay, ma'am, ngayon magdadissect tayo ng saglit, tapos mamaya we'll open the floor sa inyong mga katanungan. May mga mic ba kayo? Ay, okay.
Pasahan na lang.
Okay, sige. Simulan natin yung talkback na ito sa yung elephant in the room. So obviously, very political and sensitive yung topic. Di na natin kailangan i-explain kung bakit, pero some points because dahil ito ay hango sa katotohanan at it involves real people. But to our director, simulan na natin agad. What do you think audiences might misunderstand kung purely political yung tingin nila sa kinukwento natin?
Yeah. Thanks, Aya. Una sa lahat, gusto ko din pasalamat for, alam ko, maulan, matraffic. Salamat sa pagpunta, panood nung mid-season episode. Kung may mga tanong kayo about what happened before this episode, please do watch our pilot and the second episode sa aming YouTube channel, sa The Rain YouTube channel. And sana sundan natin yung mga iba pang episodes. Ayun, going back to the question. Yes, we were very aware na itong subject matter is very sensitive, political, polarizing even. But in the midst of, sa gitna nung lahat ng to are stories of people caught in this war against drugs. So it's may mga nanay, kwento ng nanay na nawala ng anak, mga anak na nawala ng mga magulang, communities shaped by sa nangyari sa paligid nila. So ito yung mga gusto naming i-capture, these human stories, and that's what we presented in this series. Ayaw namin na sana na matabunan itong kwento na to sa mga issues na political. So that's what we wanted to show in the series.
But direct, di ba marami ng mga nagsasabi rin na pwedeng na-sensationalize lang, ginagawan lang ng gimmick. Ano yung take nyo sa opinion na yon? Na tayo ay nabe-brainwash lang, propaganda lang ito. Ano yung maaari nyong sabihin na perspective or shift doon sa ganong mindset?
First off, we don't want to change anyone's views on what happened. But ang gusto namin makita yung ibang perspektibo. We gusto namin through this, we hope magkaroon ng, pag nakita mo yung ibang perspective, iba't ibang perspektibo, magkaroon ng conversation about it. And we feel through that conversation, mas magkakaroon ng unawaan, understanding, and eventually sana healing. Diba? Doon naman yung nagsisimula. Pag nag-usap, pag nabuksan yung mata, pag nabuksan yung isip, nabuksan yung tenga. Yun yung hope namin. And yun yung gusto namin sabihin sa lahat.
Ang ganda ng sinabi niyo na perspective. And I truly agree kasi walang isang character na, ito, yung parang may stereotype. Wala eh. Lahat sila complex. Lahat sila may imagine mong kapitbahay mo sila or nag-exist silang mga tao. In connection to what you said, Sir Jonathan, I'd like to ask, paano nyo na siguro na walang character yung parang ito bida to. Ito kontrabida to. Ito dapat ito yung sanggano sa kanto na nagbabasag ulo. Alam mo yon, yung mga ganong nuances na for the longest time in this industry nakikita natin at merong mga negative effects. So paano nyo na balance sa script writing yung ganon? Na walang hero, walang villain?
First, we used research. So in the research, we read of different stories from different people. So we try to we try to use these stories to build interesting characters. But at the same time, while the research does exist, what was important was to create characters that were fully alive. And by fully alive, I mean, you could see their desires, their joys, their fears, and you take these fully alive people and you throw them into this situation to see how they would react. And like in real life, you put different kinds of people in different kinds of situations, and you have very human reactions that you cannot really just simply classify as villains or as heroes, just because you have been conditioned by centuries of storytelling to see the world that way. So that was the key, essentially, trying to create characters that are fully alive and fully immersed, even if they die in the first 10 minutes. Yeah.
O kaya paulit-ulit na pinapatay kada episode.
Yeah.
Pero dumating ba kayo sa point, Sir Jonathan, na parang merong original na storyline, tapos binago nyo in between kasi, or parang after a certain draft, dahil sa tingin nyo, ay, magiging ganito?
Yeah, we did pivot on a few of the plot points.
Like what?
Well, for example, we had to. There's this saying that truth is stranger than fiction, and to make ultimately a coherent and enjoyable story, we had to sort of tone down some of that truth that was stranger than fiction.
Ooh, like,
Like
is it okay if okay lang naman?
like the story, like what we saw earlier with Reb, diba? He was found amongst the dead. Like he pretended to be dead. That was based on a real story that happened. I think to a vegetable vendor. I think that's what he was, and how it came about is much stranger than what we've portrayed on screen. Like, because if it did it the way it happened in real life, it might seem too outlandish. So, stuff like that, we had to pivot a bit, we had to tone down a bit. Like, I wrote it down in the script, we went through it and let's change it to something that might be more believable, more easier to swallow, so to speak.
Ang hirap naman i-host nito. Ang bigat sa dibdib. I don't know, do we have the same reaction? Ako, nakanganga lang ako, na parang tone down pa yun.
Yeah.
And ngayon lang ako nakarinig, usually kasi di ba, pag sa mga films or serye, ino-OA yan. Yung parang iyak na iyak o ino-OA. Yun lang naman. Ito, kabaliktaran. Tinone down nyo para mas digestible ng human general.
Yes, and also as well, so that one weird thing does not take away from the larger story.
Okay. Thank you for...
If I may add, totoo yung sabi ni Jonathan, doon sa research namin parang hindi lang ganun kadami yung bodies na kung saan nagpanggap siya na patay na. Doon sa marami. So mapatungan siya. Ganun. But to add to Jonathan, parang our guiding post was yun, yung emotional truth. So as long as hindi kami nawawala doon, the fictionalization of some stuff, yun yung lagi namin tinitingnan. Is this is still nandun pa rin ba ito dun sa truth na kinukwento na?
Yeah, thank you for sharing with us your creative process. I just felt that it was kind of a very sensitive one and hard to let it out. But thank you for sharing us. Move on tayo kay Harvey. Parang palagi kang tinutugis si Kiko every episode. This is the third and ganun din.
Ganun pa rin.
Ano yun?
Ganun pa rin.
Oo. I know I'm just trying to find na lang the funny part, the silverest lining. Oo. Ano yung gusto mong maintindihan ng audience tungkol sa choices na ginawa ni Kiko habang nandun siya sa kwentong yon? Lalo na dito sa episode 3, namatay na siya pero mas pinakita yung efforts niya para laman yung katotohanan sa pagkamatay ng tatay niya. So ano yung nais mong maintindihan ng audience about Kiko?
I was watching episode 2 last night. Tas yun nga syempre kasi pinadala yung mga questions for tonight last night, and I was reading through it, and I read that question, tapos napaisip nga ako na from Kiko's perspective, I was thinking direct kasi from the moment na witness niya yung murder ng dad niya to yung first meeting niya with Father Tom. Ilang days yun or ilang hours yun? Like, that was a week, diba? That was a week. So, diretso yun for Kiko. So, I was thinking about that last night. Tapos naisip ko na, from Kiko's perspective, it doesn't really have a choice. I was thinking about that question and how it was worded because it was, what do you wish for people to understand in terms of Kiko's choices? He didn't really have much of a choice. Diba? So at least in those first couple of hours, even moving forward years after, he didn't really have a choice. Ito yung cards, kumbaga parang ito yung cards ni Kiko. Kiko has to play with whatever he has. And that's what he had. He didn't have any support from anyone. He had to go into hiding. He can't even rely on the system that is meant to protect him kasi end of the day he is being hunted down by that same system. So siguro that's what I want people to understand is that unfortunately Kiko's situation is real and it is happening. It has happened to people, and instead of there being, I guess what I hope people to understand is that that Kiko's situation is possible and that it is happening, but I think we need to ask why the system that has been built is so hesitant in terms of helping people like Kiko. Wherein in an ideal world, if a situation like Kiko's were to happen, he would have the support that he would need to try to even make it out alive, I guess. But he didn't really have a choice, which I think, I was back to my story where I was watching episode 2, tapos napaisip ako na parang, wow, sobrang kawawa ni Kiko. Sobrang kawawa ni Kiko in every episode, and that's where I came upon yung realization na he didn't have a choice, unfortunately. So
Siguro, what if yung choice, it means something na as Kiko, the character, did you have any like mindset or mantra or thought in mind that was not in the script but it was in your head while you were shooting the scenes in the episode?
The only thing that was in my head na yung pinaka-goal talaga ni Kiko is to find out the truth about his father. Yun talaga yung pinaka-driving force. Isipin mo from 2016 up until 2018 or 2019. Yun pa rin yung pinaka-driving force ni Kiko is I witnessed yung aftermath in front of me. That's not something you forget, diba? It's not something you see a body in front of you. It's not something you forget, especially a loved one. So yun talaga yung pinaka-driving force ni Kiko na I guess throughout all of the scenes, yung pinaka-motivation Kiko to keep going despite everything na everyone against him is I need to find out what happened to my father, which is yun talaga yung pinaka-drive niya.
Well, usually we don't ask the process of an actor, but I would just like to briefly ask, was Kiko, like the way you portray the role, not actually in the script, were you really believing that you will actually find justice sa pagkamatay ng tatay niya?
Before I got episode 4 script, before I got the episode 4 script. Yeah. You have to as Kiko, as the actor portraying Kiko, you have to, despite, reading the script and everything and really hoping and really, because Kiko is a character because of every single situation that's thrown at him, somehow he seems to survive. You end up cheering for a character like Kiko. And then, even though I know going forward into filming those last couple of episodes na it may be, Kiko may not, not saying he won't, alright? This isn't a spoiler. Not saying he won't, alright? He may be, alright? Maybe, but yeah, we will see, abangan. But you need to keep that hope as the actor na parang Kiko needs to get his justice, and I think abangan. Yun na lang.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I needed to ask kasi mahirap yung sitwasyon niya eh.
Super.
Hindi ko alam kung anong term pa ngayon dapat i-describe, but
Yeah.
thank you for
Yeah,
running
thank
us through that thought process. Bago tayo mag-move on, huwag natin kakalimutan na free ang Dog Wars sa YouTube at every Thursday, lumalabas ito at 8 p.m. At ngayon, advance nga lang ito. Kaya sana ma-share nyo para mapanood nating lahat yung susunod na episode tomorrow. So, next.
And hello po, hindi po ako nakapagbati.
Ayun.
Hello. Thank you for coming, guys. Kahit sobrang traffic. Traffic din po ba kayo? Buti nga nakaabot kayo sa screening eh. Ako hindi na eh. Onti na lang, hindi na ako abot sa screening. But thank you for coming, guys. Thank you very much.
Siyempre, buhay ka today, kaya pumunta talaga sila. Oh. So, but, thank you. Miss Malu,
Patay na po ako.
oo nga
Episode
eh. Actually, sino dito ang nakapanood hindi nakapanood ng episode 1 and 2? Hindi naman po kayo palalabasin ng theater. Okay. Sige, para sa benefit ng hindi nakapanood pa ng episode 1 and 2, could you run us through your character, Miss Malu?
Okay, I'm Malu. I play Aling Lydia. Ako ang assistant sa simbahan ni Father Tom. Ako ang tiyahin ni Kiko na una hindi tumulog sa kanya at pinalaya siya dahil ayokong madamay. Dahil ginudge ko yung tatay niya na adik yung tatay niya, so malamang yung anak adik din. Pero I'd like to believe na kahit parang puwing lang yung liit ng role ni Lydia, nakakapuwing pa rin siya. At hanggang sa dulo, binaril ako noon yung nasa dulo, si Miggy. Isang addict din. Yun. Pero kung hindi, kung wala yung compassion ni Lydia, hindi tutuloy yung episode 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pero yun lang, parang gusto ko lang sabihin din sa lahat, I see a lot of young people here sa audience, and I will not allow this night to pass na kahit in our own little way, kahit puwing lang tayo, we have to be compassionate for the truth. Yeah, it's not too late to speak up. Oh, haba ako na.
Oh, hindi. But thank you for also speaking up. Ano yung natutunan nyo kay Lydia na who taught you about the people and families who actually have to live through these kinds of circumstances?
Yun. That no matter what our role is, watching episode 3, I am sure you saw yourself in the episode. Anak ka na kailangan mo bang hintayin na mamatay ka, katulad ni Kiko, sa last minute, tsaka mo hahanapin yung katotohanan. Parang may nakita ko dito mga nanay, yung addiction is not solely drug addiction, pero do we give time to our children or we wait before it's too late na ibuburol na sila and kailangan pang i-autopsy. Watching episode 3, parang yung nakuha ko lang is lalaban ka hanggat kaya mo. Si Mickey nga, binaril na, tumayo pa rin. For truth. Si Jan Arcilla, kahit na akala mo kung umasta, parang ang laki-laki kahit yung mga pulis, di ba? Power trip lang sila. Pero, are they really fighting for truth? I am sure, deep in their hearts, alam nila that what they're doing is wrong. And hihintayin ba nila na mamatay din sila? Ganda lang nung atake ni Ian Veneracion na amidst the noise, all the violence, yung mga dugo, etc. Sabi niya, I'm not fighting that way. I want to fight na and pari pa siya. So akala natin holy, diba? So yun, so sana it's never too late to reach out to our children. It's never too late to reach out to our parents. Huwag natin hintayin na may sisiw na tayo sa ibabaw and it's too late to speak up.
Thank you, Ms. Marie. And lastly, Miggy, as Reb, ano yung natutunan mo sa klaseng tao ni Reb living through that kind of reality?
Yes, hello, good evening. Pero before I start, I just want to say, fuck that peanut butter. Direct, sorry, pero fuck that. Sabi ko talaga, favorite ko yung peanut butter, pero like, umay na, so, I hate it now. Anyway, share ko lang fun fact. Para medyo mag-lighten up naman yung mood natin a bit. But yeah, so apparently, like, ngayon ko lang din nalaman na true story yung situation ni Reb nung bumangon siya with the second chance of life. Na based on it's crazy. I mean, that's so crazy. Parang ngayon na tapos ko nang gawin yung eksena at napanood ko yung final output, parang I don't know, like I'm speechless. Like, kasi for me, too much na yung, it's really like, I'm really grateful as an actor to portray and to embody a character like Reb, na who could be just anyone na we see on a daily basis that we don't even care about, honestly. And with Reb, he's just a kid, honestly. Yun yung thought process ko habang ginagawa yung mga scenes ko. He's just a kid na walang gumagabay, and at the same time who looks for comfort and who looks for friends and stuff. So it's more of the anxiety playing around, especially like physically. Mentally, it's more of a struggle. Sabi ko rin kay Direk ng first day ko, we shot it was my first day, yung death scene ko, that was my first day. And I completely don't know Reb. Wala akong background sa kanya. So we had to shoot the final day of Reb, which is hard. So again, hindi na ako nag-isip siguro masyadong mentally, but we had to study, especially the effects of meth. We had to give justice to how, the withdrawals, the gestures, the mannerisms and stuff. Siguro mas more physically. And it's tiring, I have to say it. It's tiring, it's dirty, but it's fun. And ako, na-enjoy ko lang din yung proseso. At the same time, I'm doing something that matagal ko nang gustong ipaglaban. And I was just scared. Duwag lang din ako. Pero gusto ko lumaban, just like Reb. So he's just scared. He's scared, but he knows when to fight. Yeah.
Thank you, and congratulations for taking on the role. Now we are opening the floor to your questions.
Hello po. Hi. Congratulations po. Question ko po kay Direk. Direk, ano lang po, marami pong platform na pwede mag-generate ng income yung project. Bakit po sa YouTube?
One, it's really the accessibility no YouTube. With a material such as this, which is nabanggit nga ni natin kanina na very sensitive, very polarizing. We think yung YouTube yung perfect platform for it, where people easily can find it, and with your help, ma-amplify pa, people can see it, and we see the engagements ng tao. Makapag-comment ka, magkakaroon ng conversation, like we said, and yun yung pinakamahalaga sa amin as creators, as storytellers, makita, makuha, mapanood.
Last po, since accessible po yung series sa YouTube, maganda rin po yung numbers, nakita ko po kanina, tinignan ko po, for 13 days na may almost 400,000 views na po. And ano po siya, true to life story. Nakatanggap na po ba tayo ng negative from the past administration? Comments from them? Or anyone, supporters from them?
Madami. But we encourage that. Again, sinabi ko kanina, it's it's not for a specific group. It's not for a specific political leaning. It's for everyone. And yung engagements na yon, again, makakatulong dun sa conversation, sa pagkipag-usap, sa pagtingin sa mga panibagong perspektibo. And may matututunan tayo sa bawat perspective na yun, feel.
Di lang po negative sobra sa page. Wala po kayo natanggap na super negative? Or any... ano po yung pwede nyo i-share?
Negative? Ayun.
From them?
Wala man specific right now, but yeah. Yun. Alam mo na yun. Anything na pwedeng i-maibat about the story.
Okay, thank you po.
Thank you.
Hello po, good evening. Ako po si Gabe, isa po akong content creator. Bago ko po itanong yung tanong ko, gusto ko lang pong i-express yung appreciation ko sa writers, sa directors, sa mga actors. Thank you for giving the victims and the families of the victims humanity. I wouldn't even say justice, pero like humanity, I think that's what the most important thing is lacking sa portrayal ng mga ganitong klaseng polarizing na mga depiction of what happened during 2016 to 2022. Two-part question lang po for the artists and the writers and kay Direk po. I think na-touch on na din naman ni Harvey kanina. Was there any ounce of hesitance when you were taking on this project, specifically to the actors, given as we know, the society that we have, especially the clamor within social media and how passionate people can be with their political leanings. Ako bilang content creator, it tends to scare away the people that you want in your corner, especially when you're vocal with the things that you want to fight for. Bilang mga artista, dala ng kung paano natin nakikita yung mga common artista ngayon na aren't really that vocal with the way they lean towards their political leanings. Ano yung mga hurdles na harapan nyo bilang mga artista na kukunin ko ba to? Baka may matakot na brand sa akin kung kinuha ko tong project na to. Yun po. First part question. Thank you so much po.
I think the fear of losing possible brand deals is very first of all, it's a valid fear. because it is work, diba? We all need to work. But I think if your concern is losing a brand deal over being part of a group of people presenting something you believe that is important, I think something went wrong on your way to where you are now. Kasi what we do as artists, yung output namin as artists is a reflection on the things that we believe in. For me personally, the only hesitance that I had for this project is making sure that we are able to tell the story right. And what I mean by right is being able to lay out all of the perspectives. And yun nga, the one answer that I always go back to when trying to describe the show is, it is a war show, you know? War projects or war stories are usually always about the people in between the bullets that are being fired. And that's what the show is, right? So, the only hesitance that I had is I hope we get to tell the story right. But in terms of joining and as much as possible getting the show out there was no hesitance on my end talaga. Though that fear of the brands and everything, that is valid. It doesn't make you any less of an artist. It's just if you're starting to, for me personally, if you're starting to focus on that more than the message that you can be helping put out there, then I think
That gives me
evaluate some stuff.
That gives me so much hope, Harvey. Salamat. I actually asked that question for the perspective of galing sa mga artista kasi I think I have a fair share of sharing my unsolicited opinions on social media. My second question is that as we see the numbers sa YouTube po na nakikita na ng common masses itong drug war, what's your intended impact while you were writing the story, while you were doing the actor work, once this gets through the audience na pro drug war campaign, for example? Kasi I think more than anything, while we are in the pursuit of truth, I think they should be at the receiving end. Sila yung, I think, dapat na maging target demographic ng show na to kasi it shows so much humanity for people that we treat as animals, addicts, di ba? People struggling with the disease of addiction. So what is your intended impact kapag kunwari isa akong pro-drug war supporter? What do you want out of it pagkatapos ng lahat when everything is said and done? Thank you po.
Thank you. We go back to showing the different perspectives. Kagaya ng sinabi mo, to show the humanity nitong mga kwento ng mga tao na ito na nag-ipit sa crossfire ng gera. And somehow to find themselves also in those characters. Kasi lahat tayo anak, lahat tayo pwedeng naging magulang, lahat tayo may kakilala. And through that, somehow, pag nakita, baka maapektuhan, mas mabuksan yung mata, mas maisip, mas makinig, makikipag-usap, conversation. Baka doon, maybe that's the first step towards yung hinahanap natin lahat na healing. And we can move on from what happened.
Okay, so first on the question of the hesitation, there was none on my part. I don't have any kids. No brands are after this face, so I'm. There's no doubts, no hesitation. Plus, it's a complex story about a complex situation with complex characters. So it's like a writer's wet dream. So it's really the sort of thing you professionally hope to come across instead of the usual rote entertainment stuff. On the question of impact, what impact we wanted, I think Direk Shug already touched on it. Mainly, we wanted the conversation. That's why we wanted characters that felt human, that felt rounded out, characters with different perspectives, different joys, different desires, different fears, and because we believe that it is in having these conversations that you eventually come to a perspective or a sliver of truth that you would otherwise not have if you have stayed in your little bubble, no matter what side you're coming from.
lang kayo. Tanong lang. Maraming salamat. Maraming salamat, Gabe, and sa mga una nagtanong. Baka meron pang gusto magtanong? Ayun. Ay,
Ay, hello po. Sa director po and sa writer. Alam naman po natin na talagang needed na story to and dapat po talaga mapanood ng mga tao. Pero curious lang po ako, so, parang paano nyo po ito ginawa na parang hindi marireduce yung Philippines or yung Filipinos sa lens na poverty, crime, corruption, ganun po. Like, ano po yung naging process nyo?
You mean para sa
Opo, parang
tingin ng labas?
Opo, parang yun na lang po yung parang tingin nila sa mga Pilipino or sa Philippines. Although dapat naman po talagang malaman to ng natin.
Kami when we did this, parte nung objective namin is to show the world how world class our actors are. Kung gaano sila kagaling. And kaya makipagsabay on the world stage. You see Ian there, RV, Miss Malu, Lot, Sir John, Arcelia, Jane, Romnick, everyone. So talagang yun yung gusto namin. Now, world class to. Apart from that, we wanted this maging premium. This is a premium series. So the look, the treatment, ilaw, cinematography, lahat ng aspeto ng produksyon, we made sure na may pagmamalaki to, hindi lang namin ng mga gumawa, kundi ng Pilipinas, ng Pilipino.
Sa actors naman po, since emotionally taxing po kasi yung story, paano po kayo bumibitaw sa characters na parang may times na po ba na parang naidala niyo po siya sa personal na buhay, especially po si Sir Miggy? Like, pag napapanood niyo po yung sarili niyo, how do you feel?
Wala ng peanut butter. Hindi, I mean, it's more of, siguro hindi, yun yung one of the things na kailangan, kahit anong proyekto yan, like being an actor, you have to learn how to let go. Kailangan marunong kang, especially like, when nag-cut na, kailangan marunong kang mag-let go kasi like, syempre like, tao ka rin naman. Dapat matutunan mo na papasok lang din yung mag-embody lang ulit sa yung character mo when it's needed. Kasi it's really gonna consume you. Like your energy, everything. Mentally, pwede kang kainin talaga. But, yeah, may mga times lang siguro, sabi ko rin kanina sa parang interview na sometimes yung physically, yung mga mannerisms, yun yung hindi ko natatanggal. Especially like on set, yung mga fidgeting, like nail biting, like minsan hindi ko na napapansin, naglalakad-lakad ako. Like, tas biglang pag-uwi, doon ko na nafe-feel na sobrang draining pala talaga. Pero yeah, pero in terms of, yeah, you can still converse, kahit mo pa rin naman makipag-usap, makipag-bonding, yeah.
Thank you po.
we're down to our last question dahil 10 na pala. Siya na mamili kung sino.
Hello. Hello po, good evening. I'm Raven, student activist po. And first of all, I just want to commend po the team, the production of this limited series because I know that it's very hard na mag-produce ng ganitong eye-opening series, lalo na sa lipunan natin ngayon. And yung nakikita ko rin po sa mga comments and sa mga news, yung attacks on this. Kasi ang dami sabi, the whole limited series was just a black propaganda. But I know it's really hard for us to tell the truth dahil yung mga attacks na pwede nating makamit. Pero I salute the courage na maging matatag para makapagbahagi tayo ng katotohanan. Yung gusto ko lang po siya ng i-ask, since nababanggit din po kanina na yung mga pinoportray natin na roles and stories na she-share is based on true events, do you think po ba na sa past administration until now, yung mga stories na pinortray natin ay nakamit na talaga yung tunay na hustisya mula sa sinapit nila? And I think that ano po yung naiisip nyo na magsuserve na role ng limited series na ito aside sa pag-share ng different perspectives? Gaano kahalaga yung series na ito sa continuing human rights violation, extrajudicial killing sa lipunan natin ngayon? Thank you po.
I think we're pretty far from getting justice, proper justice for the victims talaga. I will leave it at that, but I think we are not close at all, which is a very sad thing because it's been years, but we're not close at all. I will leave it at that. But to answer yung latter half of your question, what role does this show play in terms of that? I hope na what we always say na we're not telling you what to think. You know, this isn't Bible. Our show isn't Bible. It's not gospel either. We're just presenting facts and we're presenting data that, you know, was researched for the show, and it's up to you to decide whatever you believe in. But what I hope personally, what I hope the show does is, I don't know if it's ignite or reignite the conversation about what had actually happened before. But I think that's the best we can hope for in terms of the show. We're just a show. We can only do so much. Diba? We can only have a certain number of people talk about the show and spark a conversation. But that's the most that we can do. Which is, I hope, does happen. I hope conversations do happen. Questions start being asked na should be asked louder, maybe. But I think we're pretty far from justice, and I hope that the show starts important conversation.
To add lang, isa sa mga objective din namin, I think na pwede na the purpose also of what we think the show will do is, pag tinignan mo kasi yung nangyari, parang ang tagal na. Pero actually, malapit lang siya eh. Parang ito lang siya eh, di ba? And ayaw sana namin through this, wag sana makalimutan. Kasi pag nakalimutan, yun yung malungkot. Because then, the people were seeking justice, people who still seek justice now, yung mga biktima, either makalimutan or yun na nga, sabihang hindi totoo yung nangyari sa kanila. So that will be very sad. So isa yun sa gusto namin na nating kalimutan na nangyari itong isang napaka-importante, pivotal na chapter ng bansa, ng nangyari sa bansa natin.
Maraming salamat sa inyong mga katanungan, and once again, congratulations and thank you for doing this project. I cannot not say this. Personally, I have a schoolmate in high school. I graduated from Makati Science High School. His name is Carl Arnaiz at isa siya sa mga natokhang. Crazy how it is very near to us. And thank you for doing this because we are very much far from justice. And I was not allowed to speak up before because it was during that administration. So yun, I agree very much. Sana hindi magtatapos ngayong gabi. Bago tayo umuwi. Can we have a few words, last few words from everyone? Let's start with Ms. Malu.
Again, as Direk Shugo said, no, this is not a political movie or a series. We just want to make kwento. And we're not pinpointing that this administration is better than the other, pero it speaks directly to each individual audience na nakakita. So, may we really find ourselves in the movie from episode 1 to 6, and you can do that by watching the Rain Entertainment YouTube channel every Thursday, 8 p.m. for you to be awakened and see if you're a Father Tom, a Kiko, or an Aling Lydia.
Maggie?
Yeah, I just wanna say thank you. May reason naman kung bakit din nandito kayo lahat. Hindi lang naman kayo nandito para manood lang o para gumawa ng article or whatever, kung anong content. I know you're here kasi you basically care, and I feel like that's more than enough. So, yun lang, ingat din kayo po, maulan, and kain kayo na maraming peanut butter.
Ayun, thank you everyone for coming. It's very traffic, it's very rainy. We took some precious time out of your lives for this very special moment. So thank you very much for coming here, everyone. Thank you for the questions, everyone. Please do spread the word of the show. Please, we hope you guys are enjoying the mystery, the noir-esque aspect of the show, and get home safe, guys. Thank you so much.
Last ko na lang, wait lang. Mag-photo op tayo yung mga lumalabas. Wait lang. Sir Jonathan, last few words for the audience.
I also want to thank everybody for coming and watching this with us and watching this series. And I hope that you guys stick around for the full 6 episodes. Watch it and absorb the whole story. And everybody drive home safe and tell your friends.
And lastly, Direk.
Ayun. Thank you again. We hope supportahan nyo, subaybayan nyo itong kwento ng drug war. Marami pang mangyayari. Marami pang matutuklasang mga misteryo, lihim si Kiko sa mga nangyari. Tahi-tahi ito na kwento. And yun, every Thursday, 8 p.m. And katulad nga ng kasabihan ngayon, please like, share, subscribe. So, ayun, maraming salamat po.
Drug war, ladies and gentlemen. Maraming salamat.